The Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser was not merely a ship, it was a marvel of destructive potential. A warship whose armament could reduce the mightiest of foes to dust. Every inch of its towering form was crafted to house an arsenal of such staggering power that it seemed almost a cruel joke to imagine any vessel standing against it for long. Its weapons were not just tools of war, they were extensions of its unyielding will, each part of a symphony of devastation, carefully arranged to carve the path of victory no matter the cost. The ship's armament told the story of a warship designed not only for the open seas of space, but for a relentless, omnipresent battle. Its weapons as much an embodiment of its maker's intentions as they were of its role as the harbinger of doom. The medium turbo laser batteries of the Dreadnought class were the centerpiece of its offensive capabilities. A series of 10 meticulously placed cannons that stretched across its hull, 5 at the fore and 5 at the aft. These turbo lasers were the backbone of the cruiser's firepower, their dual positioning offering unparalleled strategic flexibility. The 4 turbo lasers could sweep the battlefield in front of the ship, focusing their concentrated blasts on enemy capital ships and fortifications, cracking through shields and armor alike. These turbo lasers were not merely tools of destruction, they were tools of control, designed to create a buffer zone around the ship to keep enemy vessels at bay. The forward-facing turbo lasers could break apart enemy formations with calculated precision, turning the Dreadnought into an unstoppable force that could march across the void. But it was the aft turbolasers that gave the cruiser its unique edge. As the ship turned to engage new enemies or evade incoming attacks, the aft turbolasers ensured that no vessel could pursue with impunity. Their sustained fire could decimate smaller ships attempting to flank the cruiser, and in battle, these aft batteries would be the last line of defense, a burning trail of energy that would light the ship's retreat or, if necessary, obliterate any threat that dared to pursue. These turbo lasers were so finely tuned that they could fire with staggering accuracy at great distances, capable of striking distant targets long before they entered the Dreadnought's primary attack range. The fore and aft turbo lasers, in essence, ensured that the Dreadnought class was always prepared for battle, regardless of the ship's position, making it a constant and unrelenting threat. Flanking this core of power were the light quad turbo laser cannons, 20 of them, split evenly between the starboard and port sides. Each of these turrets mounted 4 barrels capable of rapid-fire volleys that would light up the sky with an inferno of energy. They were not designed for brute force like the medium turbolasers, but for sheer volume, creating a cloud of fire that was impossible to ignore. The quad turbolasers were perfect for dealing with swarms of smaller vessels, fighters, and agile starships. Their rapid rate of fire made them ideal for tracking and destroying fast-moving targets, with each successive shot reducing the enemy's options for evasion. They were placed in such a way that no matter how a ship tried to approach the Dreadnought, its side would always be met with a flurry of energy, breaking up attack formations before they even had a chance to strike. The arrangement of these turbolasers was not just functional, it was a dance of destruction. The 20 turbolaser cannons would sweep the field of battle in arcs, coordinated and deadly. The simultaneous volley from port and starboard created a deadly crossfire, a net of energy that was difficult to escape. It wasn't just firepower, it was a trap, a web of death that would collapse on anything that dared to get too close to the ship. Each shot fired from these quad cannons was a message. No ship could approach the Dreadnought without paying the price. While the quad turbo lasers dealt with smaller and more agile threats, the heavy laser cannons gave the Dreadnought the power to deal with larger, more resilient targets. The 20 heavy laser cannons were positioned across the bow and stern, 10 on each side, a balanced formation that ensured the Dreadnought could strike in all directions. These weapons were devastatingly effective against larger capital ships, their beams of concentrated energy designed to cut through hulls and blast through shields with brutal efficiency. Unlike the rapid-fire nature of the quad turbolasers, the heavy laser cannons operated with methodical precision, their shots slower but far more powerful. When they fired, the very fabric of space seemed to distort as they released their energy, each shot an earthquake of light and fury. Their placement on the ship's flanks allowed them to target enemies attempting to close the distance with the Dreadnought. The port and starboard positions ensured that no one could outmaneuver the cruiser's firepower. A ship approaching from either side would find itself the recipient of concentrated laser fire, its shields shredded before it had a chance to strike. The precision of the heavy laser cannons meant that even the toughest of hulls would eventually give way under sustained fire. As the nature of warfare evolved and new threats emerged, so too did the Dreadnought class. Some vessels were modified to include ion cannons, specialized weapons that could incapacitate rather than destroy. The ion cannons did not merely destroy ships, they rendered them impotent, overwhelming their electrical systems and disabling their capabilities. It was a weapon of choice for disabling an enemy without killing it, allowing the Dreadnought to capture vessels intact or incapacitate them for boarding operations. The addition of these ion cannons introduced a new layer to the cruiser's already versatile armament. The Dreadnought class was no longer just a destroyer, it was a hunter and a strategist, capable of adapting to the ebb and flow of battle with devastating efficacy. In addition to the ion cannons, many of the Dreadnought-class cruisers were retrofitted with warhead launchers. These launched concussion missiles, specialized projectiles designed to hit hard and fast, tearing through enemy shields and wreaking havoc on their internal systems. Concussion missiles could be used to take down fighters, damage capital ships, or cripple enemy installations. They were a tool for overwhelming enemies when energy weapons alone were not enough. The warhead launcher was a powerful addition, bringing a level of unpredictability to the Dreadnought's strategy. Where the turbolasers and ion cannons could control the battlefield with precision, the warhead launcher introduced an element of chaos, raining down destruction from a distance and keeping enemies guessing as to the full extent of the Dreadnought's firepower. The Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser was a vessel of unimaginable firepower, each weapon designed not merely to destroy, but to control, to impose order through fear and overwhelming force. Its arsenal was a reflection of the ship itself, relentless, versatile, and utterly dominant. Whether it was the medium turbolasers clearing the path, the quad turbolasers driving away swarming attackers, the heavy laser cannons carving through capital ships, or the ion cannons and warhead launchers offering new avenues of attack, the Dreadnought was a warship that stood as the embodiment of total war. It was a ship made not just to fight, but to shape the outcome of the conflict, ensuring that the legacy of the Dreadnought class would echo through the galaxy for generations. The Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser was a testament to the raw power and engineering audacity of its era, and its engines and power plants were central to its identity. These colossal machines of war, despite their imposing might, were not without their flaws. However, they allowed the cruiser to move across vast stretches of space, delivering firepower and protection to the fleet, while enduring the intense stresses of galactic conflict. From the hum of its 6 ion engines to the pulse of its power generators, every part of the ship's propulsion and energy systems reflected an intricate blend of force and struggle, creating an uneasy harmony that kept the Dreadnought alive and operational during the thickest of battles. The 6 ion engines of the Dreadnought-class cruiser were the true lifeblood of its sublight propulsion system. These immense machines, each meticulously designed to convert plasma into intense streams of ionized particles, delivered the necessary thrust to propel the 600,000-ton vessel across the stars. The engines were placed symmetrically along the cruiser's aft, working in tandem to provide a combined output that could sustain the vessel's momentum at 13 mglt. In operation, these engines harnessed energy from refined plasma sources, pushing it through powerful magnetic containment fields before ejecting it as ionized exhaust, which in turn generated thrust. The force was intense, though the maneuverability was far from graceful. The Dreadnought was not built for elegance in space travel. It was designed for endurance, strength, and reliability. Speed, especially in evasive maneuvers, was not its strong suit. The cruiser could not dance between enemy lines like a nimble corvette. It would instead plow through the oncoming fire like a giant among insects. These engines, though powerful, were inefficient by modern standards, consuming vast amounts of fuel in their effort to maintain the cruiser's operational capacity. This inefficiency became particularly evident in the course of extended operations far from resupply depots. Though capable of enduring long journeys, the Dreadnought was a ship that required logistical support to ensure its survival. Its fuel consumption was an ever-present issue, and the ship's reliance on constant resupply tethered it to a network of supply vessels, especially during prolonged campaigns. Still, the ion engines, with their raw output, were steadfast and dependable, keeping the massive vessel moving forward despite their fuel-hungry nature. But no ship that could claim its place among the stars would be complete without the capability to leave the confines of local space behind. And here the Dreadnaught-class cruiser's hyperdrive engines came into play. To ensure the cruiser could journey from system to system, traversing the vast distances between stars, it was equipped with a network of 6 hyperdrive engines. Initially, the Dreadnaught-class cruisers were outfitted with a Class 4 hyperdrive, a workhorse that allowed the ships to travel across the galaxy, but at a leisurely pace. It was fast enough for general use, but the evolving demands of warfare soon led to upgrades, and the Dreadnaughts were refitted with Class 2 hyperdrives, significantly improving their efficiency and speed. Each of the 6 engines utilized in the hyperdrive system was a powerful piece of technology, drawing immense amounts of energy from the ship's power plant to create the necessary stabilizing field for hyperspace travel. The key to this process was the hyperspace motivators, devices capable of bending the fabric of space-time itself, allowing the ship to slip into the alternate dimension of hyperspace, where it could bypass the constraints of light speed. Navigating hyperspace was a delicate process, however. Any miscalculation could send a ship hurtling through unknown parts of the galaxy, or worse, crash into a celestial body. Thus, the calibration of these engines was a precise and critical task that could make or break a mission. A Class 18 backup hyperdrive was also available for emergencies, though its speed was agonizingly slow. This secondary system, while almost useless for high-priority combat operations, provided the Dreadnought with the option of making a hasty retreat or returning to friendly space if the primary system were to fail. This redundancy reflected the overall design philosophy of the ship, built to endure even when all seemed lost. To fuel the immense energy demands of its sublight and hyperdrive engines, as well as its formidable weaponry and defensive systems, the Dreadnaught-class cruiser relied on a set of immense power generators. These engines were designed to produce an extraordinary peak output of approximately 1.9% x 1024 watts, a level of energy capable of powering the most demanding military hardware in the galaxy. The generators worked by converting raw plasma into usable electrical energy, feeding it into the ship's grid to power everything from the shields to the weapons systems. However, these generators, though powerful, were inefficient. Their design, though robust, was not optimized for long-term sustainability. The sheer volume of energy required to sustain the Dreadnought systems meant that it was constantly in need of resupply, an issue that was compounded by the fact that the cruiser's energy consumption outstripped the ability of its power plants to replenish it. The generators were constantly running at full capacity, always burning through fuel to feed the hyperdrive engines, the ion engines, and the ship's formidable array of weapons. This created an ongoing logistical burden for the Republic's military, as resupply operations became a crucial part of the Dreadnaught's mission profile. Still, the inefficiency of the power generators was not necessarily a mark of failure, but rather a reflection of the era in which the Dreadnought was conceived. Built during the height of the Galactic Republic's military dominance, the Dreadnaught-class cruisers were designed with the understanding that their size and firepower would be their primary assets. Energy efficiency was not a pressing concern when overwhelming firepower and resilience were the primary goals. The scale of energy production was staggering, and even as the Republic moved toward more refined technologies, the Dreadnought remained a symbol of sheer power, a ship that could take the fight to the enemy and endure under the harshest conditions. Together, the ion engines, hyperdrive engines, and power generators formed a complex symphony of systems that allowed the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser to sail across the galaxy, engaging in battles of epic scope. Yet the ship was never without its tensions. Each component of the propulsion system required a delicate balance of power. The engines demanded an almost insatiable supply of energy, which the power generators were reluctant to provide, creating a constant struggle for efficiency. The hyperdrive engines, crucial for deep space travel, needed vast bursts of energy. Yet the backup Class 18 system was a last resort mechanism for when the primary engines failed. In the end, the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser was a warship that reflected its era. A colossal beast of steel and plasma that pushed the limits of engineering, yet never achieved perfect harmony. It was a ship of immense power, but it was also a ship of constant need. Needing fuel, needing support, needing the vigilance of a skilled crew to ensure its continued operation. But it was this very struggle that defined the Dreadnought. A ship that could weather the storms of galactic warfare despite the inefficiencies built into its heart. The Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser was a masterstroke of engineering and design. Its every contour and internal structure crafted with precision to fulfill its role as a bastion of heavy firepower and resilience. Spanning a formidable 600 meters in length, with a width of 116.5 meters and a towering height of 129.7 meters, including its lower sensor array, the vessel was a monolithic presence on the battlefield. Its design exuded an aura of brute strength, functional elegance, and military pragmatism, embodying the philosophy of its creators while showcasing the limitations and compromises of its era. The hull of the Dreadnought was constructed to withstand the brutal realities of interstellar warfare. Rated at 1056 RU, resistance units, it was forged from layers of reinforced durasteel and armored plating. This gave the cruiser a remarkable ability to absorb kinetic impacts and energy-based attacks, ensuring that it could endure prolonged engagements with enemy forces. Its surface was an intricate patchwork of armor panels, heat-dispersing fins, and structural reinforcements, creating a utilitarian aesthetic that spoke to its purpose as a frontline warship. The ship's silhouette was dominated by its central superstructure, a blocky and imposing design that housed the command bridge and essential operational systems. This elevated section provided commanding views of the surrounding space, though its exposed position made it a potential target for enemy fire. To mitigate this vulnerability, the superstructure was flanked by armored shielding and integrated with multiple redundant systems to maintain functionality under attack. Complementing the hull's physical defenses was a sophisticated energy shielding system, rated at 1920 SBD, standardized battle durability. These shields enveloped the ship in a protective cocoon, capable of deflecting or absorbing high-energy laser blasts, missile impacts, and debris collisions. The shielding was divided into multiple overlapping layers, each controlled by an array of emitters located along the hull. This modular design allowed damaged sections of the shield to be isolated and recharged without compromising the ship's overall defense. However, the shields were not impervious. Sustained bombardments from heavy turbolasers or ion cannons could overload the emitters, forcing the Dreadnought to rely on its resilient hull. The energy demands of the shielding system were also considerable, requiring precise management of the ship's power resources to ensure optimal performance during combat. Internally, the Dreadnought was a labyrinthine network of corridors, compartments, and reinforced bulkheads. Its vast interior space was carefully partitioned to accommodate the ship's numerous functions and systems. The lower decks housed engineering sections and storage bays where the roar of machinery and the hum of power conduits were ever present. Midship, the crew quarters and operational hubs were located, providing living and working spaces for the hundreds of personnel required to operate the vessel. The upper levels were dominated by the command and control centers, where officers coordinated the ship's movements and engagements. Docking facilities were integrated into the ship's design, allowing it to house and deploy a limited number of auxiliary craft. These included small shuttles for personnel transport and cargo transfer, as well as space for emergency maintenance of starfighters or other small vessels. While not a dedicated carrier, the Dreadnought's single docking bay and associated facilities underscored its versatility as a multi-role platform. Equipped with medium-range primary and secondary sensor transceivers, the Dreadnought was capable of tracking and analyzing enemy movements with precision. These systems allowed the ship to monitor surrounding space, identify potential threats, and coordinate fleet maneuvers. The sensors were housed in protected nodes distributed across the hull, with the lower sensor array extending slightly beneath the ship's main structure to enhance coverage. The navigation systems were equally advanced, enabling the ship to chart courses through dense asteroid fields, hostile territories, and complex hyperspace lanes. Automated star charts and astrogation computers worked in tandem with skilled navigators to ensure safe and efficient travel. These systems were critical not only for fleet coordination, but also for the Dreadnaught's operational autonomy, allowing it to undertake independent missions when necessary. In the event of catastrophic damage or impending destruction, the Dreadnought was equipped with numerous escape pods, each capable of housing several crew members. These pods were strategically positioned throughout the ship, ensuring that personnel could evacuate quickly from any section. The pods were designed with integrated life-supporting systems, allowing survivors to remain in space for extended periods while awaiting rescue. The inclusion of escape pods reflected the Republic's commitment to preserving the lives of its personnel, even as the Dreadnought was expected to endure the heaviest of engagements. This duality, a fortress-like exterior, paired with an emphasis on crew safety, highlighted the balance of pragmatism and compassion in its design philosophy. The general design of the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser was a product of its time, a physical manifestation of the Republic's priorities during an age of burgeoning conflict. Its imposing size and rugged construction symbolized strength and durability, while its internal layout and systems reflected a focus on adaptability and functionality. Yet its design also revealed the limitations of the era: inefficient systems, slow sublight speeds, and a dependence on vast logistical support. Despite these shortcomings, the Dreadnaught's enduring legacy lay in its ability to project power and inspire fear. Its silhouette, whether illuminated by the glow of distant stars or the flash of laser fire, became an unmistakable icon of the Republic's resolve. The ship's general design was more than a collection of specifications and systems. It was a narrative, a story of ambition, struggle, and the relentless pursuit of dominance in a galaxy defined by conflict. The hangar complement of the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser, while initially an afterthought in the design process, has evolved over time into a testament to the ship's versatility and adaptability in the midst of galactic warfare. What began as a simple cargo bay, primarily used for logistical support, has transformed into a sprawling, multifunctional space designed to host an eclectic array of fighters, transport craft, and ground assault vehicles, each adding a new layer to the cruiser's already impressive strategic capabilities. At the heart of this ever-changing hangar complement are the 12 TIE starfighters, the backbone of the Dreadnaught's offensive capabilities. Though the Dreadnought class was never intended to be a dedicated carrier, the decision to equip it with a squadron of TIEs speaks to the pressing need for mobile, rapid responsive firepower. These starfighters are the epitome of Imperial might, embodying the Empire's brutal philosophy of overwhelming force. Their triangular wings, bathed in the cold gleam of polished armor, are a symbol of the relentless aggression that defines the TIE line. Originally designed during the Clone Wars, these standardized drive TIEs form the primary complement aboard the Dreadnought, striking a balance between mobility and firepower. Each of the 12 fighters is powered by a pair of ion engines that hum with a quiet but unmistakable power. The TIE's agility and speed allow them to effortlessly engage enemy craft, swarming through space in a blur of silver and black, coordinated in tight formation to disorient and overwhelm any opposition. This swarm tactics, combined with their rapid-fire blasters and near-unmatched maneuverability, make these starfighters an indispensable component of the Dreadnought strategy, creating an impenetrable wall of laser fire between the cruiser and any would-be attacker. In addition to these standardized drive TIEs, the ship's complement also includes the TIE series starfighters, refitted with upgrades that enhance their durability and overall combat efficiency. Their modified systems allow the TIE series to operate across a wider range of conditions, and these ships form the backbone of the Dreadnaught's defense, fending off enemy bombers and intercepting hostile reconnaissance craft with deadly precision. Together, these TIE starfighters are more than just fighters. They are symbols of the Dreadnaught's commitment to overwhelming superiority in space. Yet, even the TIE starfighters are not the only breed of warrior housed within the Dreadnaught's cavernous hangar. The I-7 Howl Runners, a more specialized type of fighter, regularly take their place alongside the TIEs, bringing a more nuanced type of combat skill to the battlefield. These ships, known for their sleek profile and powerful weaponry, are a breed apart. Unlike the TIEs, which rely on sheer numbers and agility, the Howl Runners are built for more calculated, precise engagements, providing a crucial edge when the need for accuracy is paramount. With their heavy blasters and targeting systems, the Howl Runners excel in dogfights, quickly closing the gap with enemy fighters before unleashing a deadly torrent of fire. Though not as fast as their TIE counterparts, the Howl Runners are formidable in their own right, often deployed to take down larger targets or bombers, attempting to breach the Dreadnaught's defensive perimeter. Their adaptability in different combat environments, combined with their potent offensive capabilities, makes them a critical part of the Dreadnaught's defensive and offensive strategies alike. Beneath the soaring wings of these starfighters lies the more grounded yet equally vital shuttlecraft and transport vehicles that fill the Dreadnaught's hangar. These vessels, while less glamorous than their starfighting counterparts, play an indispensable role in ensuring the Dreadnaught's operational versatility. The shuttles serve as the workhorses of the ship's logistical network, ferrying personnel, supplies, and critical equipment between the cruiser and ground locations. Whether it's delivering reinforcements, evacuating injured soldiers, or transporting vital intelligence, the shuttle's ability to navigate both space and atmosphere makes it indispensable to any large-scale operation. The all-terrain personal transports, ATPTs, similarly, extend the reach of the Dreadnaught-class cruiser from the vacuum of space to the battlefields of planetside. These rugged, quadrupedal vehicles are ideal for traversing hostile landscapes, their sturdy frames capable of withstanding enemy fire while providing mobile artillery support. As part of the Dreadnaught's ground assault capabilities, the ATPTs are invaluable for both offensive operations and securing strategic locations after planetary assaults. Though the Imperial Navy's version of the Dreadnaught-class cruiser became synonymous with the TIE series, the flexibility of the ship allowed for a diversity of customizations over time. Non-Imperial dreadnoughts often sported different configurations in their hangar bays, depending on the operational needs of the crew. A prime example of this flexibility can be seen in the Longshot, a modified Dreadnaught-class cruiser that carried an entirely different assortment of fighters, including the cloak-shaped fighters. These vessels, equipped with advanced cloaking technology, allowed their pilots to perform stealth-based reconnaissance and surprise attacks, making them highly effective in clandestine operations. For those ships that were repurposed by the New Republic, such as the New Hope, the hangar served as a home to X-Wing starfighters, the stalwart defenders of the Rebel Alliance and the symbol of the New Republic's resistance. These ships, known for their versatile design and ability to operate both in space and in atmospheric environments, were key to the Dreadnaught's new role in the hands of the Rebellion. Alongside the X-Wings, the New Hope's hangar also hosted assault shuttles, lifeboats, and even a HWK-290 light freighter surface shell ships. The missile technology pilots and the lead analysts, all armed with mortars and rifles, said Squad Representative, a craft used for reconnaissance, transport, and tactical support in both space and planetary environments. The Leviathan, a Dreadnaught-class ship used by the Republic for anti-pirate operations, took the hangar's potential to a new extreme. Equipped with an extended hangar, the Leviathan could carry up to 60 starfighters, transforming it into an airborne fortress capable of projecting power over vast swaths of the galaxy. This extension not only increased the ship's offensive potential, but also provided it with the capacity to overwhelm enemy forces, saturating the battlefield with wave after wave of starfighters. The extended hangar was a direct reflection of the evolving nature of warfare, where sheer firepower and the ability to deploy large numbers of fighters could decisively tip the scales of a conflict. Inside the hangar of the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser, there is an ever-present hum of activity. Pilots perform pre-flight checks, engineers maintain the fighters, and officers coordinate launch operations, all while the ship's engines rumble beneath them. The hangar is a living, breathing microcosm of the battle taking place outside the ship's reinforced hull. It is where the clash of titans begins, where the Dreadnaught's power is not just represented in its turbo laser fire or the strength of its shields, but in the fighters and vehicles that emerge from its belly. Here, amidst the roar of engines and the flash of blasters, the true might of the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser is realized, not just as a warship, but as a force that projects its will across both space and the planets below. The crew of the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser represents a harmonious fusion of military might and the logistical backbone required to sustain such an immense war machine. Each vessel, with its towering presence, demands an army of specialists, individuals whose roles are as varied as the ship's capabilities, and who work in seamless coordination to ensure that the cruiser is prepared for the vast expanse of battle that awaits beyond its walls. At the core of the Dreadnought class, numbering 16113 personnel, lies an intricate structure of command, engineering, and tactical units. Every facet of this crew is trained for one singular purpose: to maintain the vessel's incredible operational efficiency and maximize its formidable combat potential. The officers, seasoned veterans with years of experience, lead the ship's myriad departments, each overseeing the ship's intricate systems, from navigation to weapons control. Every crew member is meticulously selected, their training pushing them to the limits of endurance and intelligence. The Dreadnought is not simply a ship, but a sprawling city that sails through the void, and its crew ensures that its sprawling infrastructure remains intact, its weapons systems ready, and its shields unwavering. Within the labyrinthine corridors of the ship, the humor of machinery and the steady rhythm of the crew's daily life are ever present. The gunners, 97 strong, are a specially trained unit whose sole purpose is to man the immense firepower that lies within the Dreadnaught's arsenal. These experts are tasked with maintaining and firing the ship's turbo laser batteries, laser cannons, and quad laser turrets, each of which requires precision, focus, and nerves of steel to operate. As the enemy fleets loom on the horizon, these gunners are the ones who respond with devastating force, their weapons lighting up the darkness of space in the blink of an eye. They are the Sentinels, the first line of offense, their hands steady on the triggers as the ship becomes an extension of their will. However, in certain scenarios, such as with the Catena Fleet-style variant, the complement of the Dreadnought class is streamlined, consisting of only 20 to 4 crew members. This reduced crew size reflects a shift toward increased automation and efficiency. These ships were designed to operate in environments where more specialized or rapid deployment forces were required, yet they retained the same formidable offensive capabilities and defensive resilience of their full-crewed counterparts. While the crew count is lower, the ship still retains its ability to operate at peak capacity, with highly trained officers and engineers ensuring that the vessel functions at maximum efficiency despite the smaller crew. In this configuration, the vessel is a leaner, faster war machine, more agile, but no less lethal. Even when reduced to a minimum crew of 9,000, the Dreadnought class is fully capable of taking on the most demanding missions. This lean crew is able to oversee the ship's most critical functions, ensuring that everything from navigation to combat readiness remains intact. Designed with versatility in mind, the Dreadnought class is engineered to function efficiently, even under the strain of minimal personnel. The automated systems and advanced technological integrations ensure that the ship can fight, maneuver, and sustain itself in the harshest environments with a skeleton crew. Despite the reduced crew, the complexity of the ship's operations never diminishes. The Dreadnought class remains a ship of exceptional versatility, capable of launching devastating offensives or executing tactical retreats without ever losing its edge. This adaptability is testament to the ingenuity and foresight of its engineers, who designed the vessel to function as both a weapon of war and a self-sustaining fortress in deep space. Beyond the crew itself, the Dreadnought class can accommodate 3,000 troops, each one trained in the grueling art of warfare, ready to deploy and engage the enemy on planet-side missions. The ship is designed to deploy these troops quickly and effectively, giving them access to both all-terrain personal transports, ATPTs, and shuttles that allow them to move swiftly across hostile terrain. These soldiers are the true warriors of the Empire, equipped with the training and discipline needed to carry out the most dangerous assignments. Whether they are storming enemy fortifications or securing strategic locations, they serve as the Dreadnaught's on-the-ground arm, executing the orders of their commanders with unwavering dedication. The Dreadnought class is also equipped with a cargo capacity of 9,000 metric tons, allowing it to ferry critical supplies, ammunition, and equipment to both frontline units and other ships in the fleet. This logistical capacity allows the Dreadnought to operate far beyond the traditional constraints of a warship. The ship becomes a mobile supply base, a hub of resources that ensures that the fleets it supports are never left wanting. Whether it's provisions for the troops, parts for the starfighters, or medical supplies for the injured, the Dreadnought class serves as a vital link in the chain that connects the farthest reaches of the galaxy to the heart of the conflict. The consumables carried by the Dreadnought class, critical supplies such as food, water, and oxygen, are designed to last for up to 2 years. This makes the Dreadnought class a self-sustaining entity in deep space, capable of conducting extended missions without needing to resupply. This level of autonomy is crucial in the unforgiving vastness of space, where supply lines can be cut off by enemy action or the unpredictability of galactic events. The Dreadnought class, with its ability to function independently for years on end, is a testament to the careful planning and ingenuity that went into its design. It is a mobile fortress, a bastion of imperial power, capable of projecting force far from home and staying operational through the most extended campaigns. In every corner of the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser, from the busy operations decks to the hangars where the starfighters rest, there is a sense of order and purpose. Its crew, whether full or minimum, work tirelessly to ensure that every system is online, every weapon ready to fire, and every soldier prepared for deployment. There is a perfect synchronization between man and machine, a carefully crafted dance of precision and power that keeps the Dreadnought class a step ahead of its enemies. Each crew member plays a vital role, each task, no matter how small, contributing to the larger machine that is the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser. It is not just a ship, it is a living organism with its own heartbeat, a rhythm of power that echoes through the stars. The Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser, a symbol of raw power and engineering mastery, entered the galaxy stage approximately in 119 BBY, a time when the galaxy was on the brink of great upheaval. It emerged not as a revolutionary design, but as a perfected form of warship, crafted to meet the ever-growing demands of galactic warfare. The development of this imposing vessel was driven by the deep understanding that conflict would become more protracted, more brutal, and more far-reaching than ever before. Manufactured by Rendili Star Drive, the Dreadnought class was the result of years of research and development in the shipyards of Rendili. Known for its reputation as a supplier of reliable and potent military vessels, Rendili Star Drive set out to create a warship that could serve as the backbone of fleets across the galaxy. They succeeded in producing a vessel that could strike with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel while absorbing punishment like a mountain. The Dreadnought class was designed not only to be powerful but also to project an image of terrifying dominance, making it as much a psychological weapon as a physical one. Rendili Star Drive, in their pursuit of this grand vision, equipped the Dreadnought class with advanced systems that allowed it to operate for extended periods in hostile environments, ensuring that it could serve as a constant, mobile force projection in any corner of the galaxy. Each ship that rolled off the assembly lines was the culmination of countless innovations in technology, weaponry, and design philosophy. The price of such technological grandeur came at a high cost. The Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser was priced at a staggering 720,000 credits, a sum that was well beyond the reach of most factions or organizations. This price was a reflection of the advanced materials, the highly trained personnel required for operation, and the sophisticated systems embedded into every inch of the vessel. For the governments and military fleets who could afford to deploy these massive ships, it was an investment in the future of warfare, a commitment to the power and presence that the Dreadnought class could bring to any conflict. However, in the often volatile and opportunistic world of galactic politics, such a vessel's value could fluctuate wildly. The Dreadnought-class, when used and refurbished, could easily fetch a black market value of 3,555,000 credits. This exorbitant price reflected not only the ship's inherent worth, but also its rarity and the demand for such a powerful tool of war. Its power, speed, and adaptability made it a prime target for black market dealers, warlords, and rogue factions who saw the value in possessing such a formidable vessel. In the shadows of galactic commerce, the Dreadnought class would occasionally find its way into the hands of less scrupulous individuals, its fierce reputation now a commodity in its own right. For these unsanctioned buyers, the cost of acquiring the cruiser was merely a stepping stone toward achieving their ambitions, whether for domination, protection, or revenge. The ship's longevity as a relevant military asset in the galaxy is a testament to its enduring legacy. Although its introduction predates many of the most well-known conflicts in galactic history, the Dreadnought class found its place in the battles and skirmishes that shaped the course of galactic affairs. Its design was not bound by the whims of transient trends. It was timeless in its utility. With its ability to be adapted to the needs of the moment, it continued to serve in various military forces, from the Republic to the Empire and beyond. Even in the hands of the Katana fleet or rogue groups such as the Leviathan, the Dreadnought class proved itself adaptable to various forms of warfare. Its size, firepower, and flexibility allowed it to evolve and stay relevant even as the galaxy's demands for military technology changed. The ship's design lent itself not just to military might, but also to strategic adaptability, making it an enduring asset for years after its introduction. Its production may have been initiated by Rendili's star drive, but its lasting impact was felt throughout the galaxy in ways that far exceeded the expectations of its original creators. The Dreadnought class's continued prominence in the galaxy speaks volumes about the design's versatility and durability. For factions seeking to project military power, there was little that could compare to the Dreadnought class, whether in the cost of construction or the sheer power it could wield. The cruiser was not just an investment in the future of warfare, it was a defining feature of an era, cementing its place in history as one of the most formidable vessels to ever grace the galaxy's battlefields. The Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser, conceived and constructed by Rendili's star drive, marked an important evolution in the Republic's military architecture, with its design crafted for the Republic Judicial Forces and as the flagship of planetary security forces. Originating at least 80 years prior to the Clone Wars, the vessel's foundational design was derived from the more massive Mandalorian Kendosii-type dreadnought, a symbol of formidable naval power during the Mandalorian Wars. However, despite its relatively long service history, the Dreadnought class would soon reveal certain limitations that needed addressing if it were to remain a viable asset in an increasingly complex and hostile galaxy. As the Dreadnought-class ships entered service, they initially played key roles in the suppression of major galactic conflicts, acting as an essential instrument of order and stability for the Republic. Yet it quickly became clear that the ships suffered from significant shortcomings, particularly concerning their crew requirements. The massive size of these warships demanded a daunting manpower complement of 600 personnel per ship, a number that, in the face of mounting galactic instability, proved difficult to sustain. The Republic military, ever resourceful in its quest for efficiency, sought to counter this flaw through technological innovation, leading to the development of a full-rigged slave circuitry system. This advancement allowed the Dreadnought class to operate with a reduced crew of just 2,200, a much more manageable number given the complexity of galactic warfare. To implement this breakthrough, 200 Dreadnought-class cruisers were retrofitted with the new slave circuitry, and they were collectively dubbed the Katana fleet. The Katana fleet represented a monumental achievement in naval engineering, and it was heralded as a game-changer for the Republic's naval forces. However, the project's ambitious technology would not remain without its tragic consequences. A high virus infiltrated the fleet, causing the minds of the crew members to fracture and descend into madness. The fleet, now under the thrall of the virus, unwittingly entered a random hyperspace jump. and the virus proceeded to claim the lives of every last crew member. The Katana fleet became a ghost fleet. Lost, its potential unfulfilled, its story an example of the dangers inherent in over-reliance on automation. This tragedy would not be the last instance of Dreadnaught-class cruisers facing unforeseen consequences. A similar system was applied to the Rendili home defense fleet, though its use in the system was less catastrophic. The Dreadnaughts continued to serve in various configurations, becoming more versatile and adaptable as the galaxy's needs shifted. One of the more famous undertakings that involved the Dreadnaughts was the ill-fated Outbound Flight project, an ambitious venture aiming to explore beyond the boundaries of the known galaxy. The Outbound Flight used 6 Dreadnaught-class cruisers as the core of its fleet, blending the cruiser's established durability with the dreams of extraterrestrial exploration. Tragically, the project never succeeded, its vessels never reaching the distant stars they sought. Beyond the major galactic governments and organizations, local forces recognized the value of the Dreadnought class. These ships offered a cheaper and more accessible alternative to the large warships that were often reserved for the wealthiest and most industrially advanced sectors of the galaxy. Outer Rim worlds, often operating under the thumb of the Trade Federation's restrictive trade regulations, lacked access to advanced warships and fighter fleets. As a result, these planets relied heavily on locally constructed fighters and modified warships. Dreadnaught-class cruisers, many of which were older models, found new homes among local security forces, sometimes even taking on distinct regional variations tailored to specific defense needs. One such example of this was the Utapauen Security Force, which produced several versions of the Rendili Dreadnought to safeguard the world's unique and labyrinthine environment. These ships, often deployed in anti-piracy roles, were scaled down compared to their larger counterparts, with some reaching just 1/5 the size of a Trade Federation battleship. Despite their smaller stature, these Dreadnought-class vessels proved highly effective in their assigned roles, thanks to their resilience and firepower. Similarly, the Rendon Home Defense Fleet kept its own fleet of dreadnoughts to ensure the security of the planet and its vital space lanes. With the eruption of the Clone Wars, the Dreadnought class found itself thrust into the heart of galactic conflict, where it played pivotal roles in several major engagements. Ships from this class saw action during the Battle of Duro, the Battle of Rendili, and, most notably, the Battle of Coruscant. As the Republic's military began to rely more heavily on clone crews and specially trained officers for more advanced ships, like the VIII-class Star Destroyer, the Dreadnoughts became the mainstay of planetary security forces and volunteer units. These ships would serve as the backbone of many of the Republic's local militias, which saw their ranks swell in the face of the separatist threat. Some of these dreadnoughts would undergo significant upgrades to adapt to the new requirements of the war. Notably, a number of ships were refitted with the newer TEE starfighters, marking a significant departure from their initial role as pure capital ships. These TIE starfighters, an iconic symbol of the Empire's reach, were integrated into the Dreadnought class's existing hangars, giving the ships a starfighter support role that had previously been absent. This modification, while relatively small in scale, further cemented the Dreadnought class as one of the most adaptable and enduring warships in galactic history. The Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser proved to be an invaluable asset for the Imperial Navy, largely due to its abundance and the cost-effectiveness with which it could be deployed. In the early years of Imperial rule, as the Empire sought to maintain a vast network of control across the galaxy, the Dreadnoughts found themselves in use in less strategically significant sectors, where newer, more advanced vessels like the Imperial-class Star Destroyers were deemed unnecessary. These Dreadnoughts often replaced more modern cruisers in battle squadrons tasked with patrol and deterrence duties in remote systems, far from the political and military hubs of the Empire. To ensure the Dreadnought class could keep pace with the rapidly evolving needs of the Empire, the Imperial Starfleet implemented several key upgrades to the ship's design. The hyperdrive system was upgraded from its original Class 4 rating to a Class 2 hyperdrive, allowing the ship to move at a faster rate across the galaxy and better keep up with the demands of rapid response operations. The ship's cargo space was also repurposed, being converted into a hangar capable of carrying a squadron of the TIE/LN starfighters, the iconic versatile starfighter of the Empire. This modification turned the Dreadnaught-class into a hybrid vessel, capable not only of engaging in heavy fire support, but also of providing its own starfighter escort, a crucial asset for maintaining Imperial dominance over more primitive worlds in the Outer Rim. These vessels now operated as patrol ships, maintaining order in regions where the Empire's presence was often enforced through sheer firepower rather than sophisticated military coordination. Decades later, the Katana fleet, long thought lost to history, would become a crucial factor in the struggle between the New Republic and remnants of the Imperial war machine. Grand Admiral Thrawn, the brilliant strategist who had risen to prominence in the post-Imperial era, would recover 178 ships of the Katana fleet. These long-lost dreadnoughts, once believed to be forever lost to the galaxy, proved to be critical assets in Thrawn's campaign against the New Republic. Their recovery was a stroke of fortune for the Imperial warlord, who had an abundance of cloned Navy crewmen at his disposal to man the ships. The fleet of Katana-class dreadnoughts served as a force multiplier, allowing Thrawn to deploy a large number of ships with a relatively small crew, bolstering his campaign in ways that the Republic could not easily counter. The resurgence of these lost ships, powered by skilled clones and Thrawn's strategic genius, threatened the stability of the young New Republic and became a symbol of the enduring legacy of the Dreadnought class in galactic warfare. Meanwhile, Bel Iblis, a prominent leader within the New Republic, saw the potential of the Katana fleet as well. Bel Iblis maintained his own fleet of 6 Katana fleet dreadnoughts, which he used in his efforts to capture 15 of the lost ships, including the most coveted of them all, the Katana itself. His operation to secure these ships, marked by daring tactics and careful maneuvering, was a testament to his military prowess and his understanding of the importance of these cruisers. However, the final ship of the Katana fleet would be destroyed in the ensuing battle for the fleet, a devastating loss for both sides in the conflict. Some of the dreadnoughts under Bel Iblis's control were equipped with ion cannons, a modification that allowed them to disable enemy ships and starships without destroying them, making them ideal for capturing valuable assets. This addition further solidified the Dreadnought class's versatility, showing that even after centuries of use, these ships could still be adapted to suit the needs of different factions and military strategies across the galaxy. From patrol ships for the Imperial Navy to cloned naval forces under Thrawn and New Republic efforts led by Bel Iblis, the Dreadnought class continued to serve as a key piece in the galaxy's shifting balance of power. The New Republic, still in its early stages of rebuilding after the fall of the Galactic Empire, found itself relying on the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruisers as a critical part of its fleet. These ships, often donated, captured, or recovered from various sources, were a testament to the New Republic's resourcefulness and its reliance on salvaged and repurposed military assets. While the Republic had grand ambitions of constructing its own formidable fleet, the realities of post-imperial rebuilding meant that the dreadnoughts, despite their outdated design, were key players in the early defense of the fledgling government. Their substantial firepower, armor, and size made them effective against the more advanced threats the New Republic would face. However, as time passed and the new class project began to bear fruit, these aging Dreadnought-class cruisers were formally decommissioned. The new class project, spearheaded by the New Republic, aimed to create a new generation of ships that were not only more advanced, but also more efficient, with less reliance on manpower. The dreadnoughts were increasingly seen as outdated relics of the past. Their heavy crew requirements and older systems could no longer compete with the sleek, more modern vessels that were beginning to take their place in the New Republic fleet. The dreadnoughts were gradually phased out as new Mon Calamari warships and more technologically advanced ships came to the forefront of the Republic's strategy. Yet, even in the face of modernization, the dreadnoughts continued to serve the New Republic and its successor, the Galactic Federation of Free Alliances, during the brutal conflict of the Yuuzhan Vong War. The vicious onslaught of the Yuuzhan Vong, an alien species bent on the destruction of the galaxy's established powers, forced the New Republic to call upon every resource available. The dreadnoughts, while still outdated in comparison to the Vong's advanced warships, offered a reliable and easily modifiable platform for further adaptation. Many dreadnoughts were converted into more specialized assault frigates, able to carry a heavier armament while being less manpower intensive than their original configurations. This transformation helped preserve the Dreadnought class's value as a combat asset, making it more flexible in the face of new threats. Some of the remaining dreadnoughts would find a final, unexpected fate during the Sith Imperial War in 127 ABY. As the conflict between the Sith and the Galactic Empire raged on, certain dreadnoughts were repurposed once again. This time as raw building material for the Hidden Temple, a mysterious and powerful site tied to the Sith's dark influence. These ships, once symbols of military might and galactic conflict, became part of the very foundation of the Sith's resurgence. The repurposing of Dreadnaught-class cruisers in this manner marks a somber end for the once proud vessels, now reduced to mere components in the construction of something far darker and more insidious than they had originally been built to fight against. Throughout their long and storied history, the Dreadnaught-class heavy cruisers proved to be more than just warships. They adapted to the changing tides of galactic warfare, proving their worth in a multitude of different roles and settings, from their initial use in the Clone Wars to their final transformation into building material for the Sith Imperial War. They embodied the ever-changing nature of galactic conflict, ships forged in one era, only to find themselves reimagined and repurposed by the next, as the galaxy's powers continued to rise and fall. The legacy of the Dreadnaught-class Heavy Cruiser extends far beyond its initial design and its service across the galaxy's many conflicts. Its creation by Renderly Stardrive set in motion a chain of events that would leave a profound mark on military shipbuilding for centuries to come. Renderly's innovative business practice of licensing the Dreadnought class to local shipyards for independent production fostered a thriving variety of Dreadnought variants. This policy allowed diverse systems across the galaxy to develop their own adaptations, tailoring the ship to meet the specific needs of their militaries and cultures. Local shipyards, free to experiment with the proven designs of the Dreadnought, produced an array of models, each with distinctive modifications that reflected the unique requirements of the forces employing them. One notable example of this was the Utapawan adaptation. Faced with the persistent threat of piracy and a need for reliable defense, the Utapawan security force took the original design of the Rendili Dreadnought and adapted it for their own defense fleet. What emerged from these modifications were multiple variants of the Dreadnought, each scaled to suit different strategic needs. From smaller, more agile versions built for coastal and planetary defense to larger models capable of engaging the more powerful warships of the galaxy, these vessels provided the Utapawans with an efficient and cost-effective means of safeguarding their world. The Utapawan dreadnoughts were a testament to the versatility of the ship, showing how the same basic framework could be molded into a wide range of roles, from anti-pirate patrols to heavy combat engagements. Simultaneously, the Mon Calamari orbital shipyards, known for their profound skill in shipbuilding, took the Dreadnought class to new extremes. Working under Rendili's license, the Quarren, a species renowned for their engineering expertise, designed some of the most innovative and advanced models of the Dreadnought class. Their creations pushed the boundaries of the original design, incorporating cutting-edge technology and weaponry that far outstripped the capabilities of earlier versions. However, these ambitious modifications would soon have unexpected consequences. During the turbulent years of the Clone Wars, a number of Quarren engineers, disillusioned with the Republic's policies and ideals, defected to the Confederacy of Independent Systems. They brought with them the fruits of their labor, including their refined version of the Rendili Dreadnought. This adaptation would become one of the Confederacy's most feared vessels, the Providence-class carrier/destroyer. The Providence class was a direct descendant of the Dreadnought, but it bore the hallmarks of its creator's advanced engineering. Larger, more powerful, and brimming with cutting-edge weaponry, the Providence class was a formidable warship that served as both a carrier and a destroyer, fulfilling a range of tactical roles. With the addition of the Separatist Dreadnought, an upscaled variant of the Providence class, the Confederacy found a deadly tool for achieving military dominance across the galaxy. These ships, conceived from the same lineage as the Rendili Dreadnought, proved instrumental in the Confederacy's campaign during the Clone Wars, becoming the flagship vessels for many of the Separatist fleets. The legacy of the Dreadnought class lies not only in its direct contributions to various fleets across the galaxy, but also in the way it influenced the future of warship design. Its versatile blueprint served as the foundation for some of the most iconic and powerful ships in galactic history. Whether as a cornerstone of planetary defense fleets or as a symbol of separatist might during the Clone Wars, its influence can still be felt long after its last cruises in the service of the Galactic Empire and beyond, as the principles of modular adaptability, cost-effective military production, and customization continue to echo through the ages. Through both its failures and successes, the Dreadnought class remains a testament to the enduring power of adaptation and innovation in the ever-changing theater of war.